Namaste, yogis. Welcome to your practice. It's Stephen from YogaWorks. Today, I've called this class the Freedom Flow because freedom is really one of the main reasons that the yogis practice what they do. They want freedom of movement, freedom of thinking and expression, freedom of feeling, freedom of breathing, and actually freedom from everything that binds us or that holds us back. Now, I've interpreted a little bit more literally because I'm going to give you some options in this flow so that you can kind of start to mix together your own practice with a little bit of guidance. And we'll take it slowly, and then towards the end, you'll get more and more freedom to really choose the pose that feels right for you. You should do this a little bit in every class, but today I'll go a little bit further and I'll give you more choice than probably you get in a regular class. And just feel free, especially in an online class, to always do what feels right for you in your practice. Good, let's start in the puppy pose. Have the knees down under the hips. Walk your hands way forward. Ground the hands down. Soften the forehead or your nose or your chin or your chest. Wherever is appropriate, soften it down. And take a moment to arrive here. Just close your eyes and start your practice. We've got half an hour today, which is not long. And it's also not super short, just it's a good amount of time to practice. Nice. And then a second version of this pose is lower your elbows down, have the palms together, and bring the thumbs back towards your neck as you bend the elbows. So the stretch goes a little bit more into the upper arms, your triceps, maybe under the armpits. Just see where you feel this the most. Good, then come into Sphinx pose, or if you're feeling a little bit more active, you haven't been moving a lot today, then you can come into downward facing dog. I'm going to do downward facing dog, but you can stay in Sphinx pose. In down dog, there's lots of options here, which we give in most classes in yoga. You can cycle the legs, you can twist or lift one leg, or often nowadays just like to be still. And see if you can start resting your eyes on one point in space, somewhere between the calves. Try not to look at anything particular, but just open the gaze like a panorama on your camera. Good, and then step 1 foot forward. You can choose right or left goes first. Then you choose the knee goes down or the knee stays up. I'm going to go with the knee up today, but if you prefer your knee down, that's perfect. And then whatever choice you make, try to really go for it. You do that thing that you have selected, you do it really well. So you're not drifting off, you're not on your phone or listening to something else in the background. Just be fully here in this pose that you have selected for yourself. And then second part of this pose, if your knee is up, then just straighten the front leg and reach back to pyramid. If your knee is down, then probably half splits is a better option, and you get a similar result. You're lengthening the back of the right leg and you're making good choices for yourself. Of course, stepping onto your yoga mat, that's a really good choice that you have already made. Just the fact that you're here means you're showing up for your freedom and your health and wellness. So well done on that. Good, and step it back, downward facing dog. If you prefer Sphinx, that's still an option. Take a moment. Re-establish that focus, that gaze, that balance. And then step your other foot forward, the one you haven't done yet. Knee down or knee up. Take a moment to do it really well. How do you do the pose well? Well, you ground down whatever is touching the base. Whether it's hands, feet, just check it out. The back knee maybe. And then you energize whatever's not touching the ground. You have a sense of lifting it up or lengthening away from the midline. It's different in every pose, but it's also the same in every pose. Good. And then stretch the left hip back. When your knee is down, you're going to be in half splits, half Hanuman. Your knees up. You're going to be in pyramid pose, Parshvottanasana. Squeeze the inner thighs together. Take a moment. Good. Release, step to the front of the mat and roll up to standing. We'll do a few half sun salutes together. We'll do one together and then a few on our own. Inhale, lift the arms, reach up. Exhale, fold forward, hang the head down. Inhale, halfway lift, hands to the shins. Exhale to forward fold, drape down from the hips. Inhale, go all the way back up, reach through the arms. And exhale, hands back to the heart. So that's one round. Do 2, maybe 3 more rounds in your own time. If you really have no idea what I'm talking about, you can look at the screen and follow me. But I'm sure you can flow through this, even make it up if you have to. It's not so important that it has to be exactly this movement. Keep going, use your breath, and try to still your mind. You might need to think a little bit which pose comes next, but try to keep the thinking and planning to a minimum here. Inhale, reach, hands to heart. Do one more round in your own time, and we'll come to mountain pose. So just complete the round that you're on. Wherever you hit mountain pose, pause there, and then we'll move again together. That's mountain pose. I'm gonna wait a few seconds in case you're still finishing your last round. That should be about it. Good. Inhale, lift the arms. Exhale, fold forward. We start at the same. Inhale, half lift, flat back. Right foot back, right knee down. Nice. Lift the arms. You can do low lunge or high lunge. You've still got those choices. And then just go downward facing dog. Inhale, move forward to plank. Somehow go down. You can do chaturanga or just lower onto your belly. Cobra or upward facing dog. There's also locust, the sphinx pose, and downward facing dog. Inhale here. Exhale, right foot forward, left knee to the mat. Lift your arms, one breath. Exhale, step to the front, forward fold. All the way up, inhale. Hands to the heart, exhale. So that's half a round. Let's do a couple more, and you're off on your own. Try copy the same as what you've done on the first side, whatever that was. If you don't remember, make it up, or you can always follow me if you really need a little bit more inspiration or guidance. It's okay. I'm not going to talk you through it because you might be doing something completely different than me by now. But just sort of stick with something that feels good, something your body enjoys. It's a good choice that you've made. You're enjoying the freedom of selecting the poses that feel good. And I will do one more complete round on the right and on the left. If you want to make some variations, you want to lift or lower the knee or add a twist or something else, that's fine. Just flow, do a step back sun salutation. That just means you're starting with one leg back. You're doing some type of a lunge. You're doing some type of vinyasa. It's usually plank. And then lowering somehow. And then a back bend that feels right. And then back to down dog. To go back to the lunge, to come forward. Just enjoy. How does your breath move? How does your body move? Can you steady your mind a little bit? Just keep it with what you're doing here, what you have selected. for yourself. Second side, just take your time to complete it. If you're already done, rest in mountain pose. If you're still going, take your time, there's no rush. Go through this. Keep the breath as relaxed as possible. Keep the movements light and smooth. I'm back in mountain pose. I'll wait here for a little bit to give you the chance to catch up in case you're still completing your last round. So make sure you do the right and the left sides. Nice. So that should be about it. We'll do a couple of rounds of sun salutation A. Let's do 3. I'll guide you through the first one, and then you offer your own for the last 2. Inhale, lift the arms, rise up, reach. Exhale to fold forward, hang the head down. Inhale, flat back, nice and high, let your back work. Plant the hands, step to plank. Exhale, chaturanga, or lower all the way down. I'm going to inhale, upward facing dog. It flows so nicely, but remember, this is not the only back bend that exists. Exhale to downward facing dog. Maybe 1 or 2 breaths, not too long. You can step or hop to the front, flat back, inhale. Exhale, forward fold. Time to rise, reach up. Hands back to the heart. Good, 2 more rounds. Flow with freedom, with grace, with inspiration, with your body, your mind, your soul all together. You can hop back if that is a nice option for you. And just enjoy the fact that you've got choices. Whenever it's time, make your way to the front. I will do one last round. You might already have started it, or you might be taking it a little bit slower, which is all good. We don't all breathe and move at the same pace, so that's how it should be. Maybe 2 breaths or so in down dog. Don't make it too long because there's a few other things I'd like to do with you. Nice. Bend your knees. Go to the front. If you're already in mountain, then be steady in mountain. Otherwise, complete the round that you're on, and I'll give it a moment. Good. From mountain pose, just step 1 foot back. You could choose which side feels better. And then turn the right toes out. Bend the right knee a lot. Warrior 2. So this, I really like this as a base for the legs. And then the arms, I'll let you choose. You can start on the regular Warrior 2 and then choose 1 or 2 shoulder options. A couple of shoulder options are eagle arms, or Gomukhasana arms, or the hands clasped together, or whatever else you would like to come up with. I'm going to go with eagle arms. Just choose which arm goes on top and at the bottom first. Don't neglect the legs, even though you're doing something with your shoulders. Steady the breath and the gaze. And then maybe do the last shoulder option. I'm going to clasp hands together behind my back. But maybe I'm going to do something else. Nice. Nice. For the next pose, here we go. You've got a lot of options. You've got triangle pose. You've got side angle pose or you've got half moon pose. I'm going to half moon pose. So I feel like a bit of a balancing. Maybe you go with triangle or side angle. That's a side stretch. Yes. If you're in half moon, you can also hold the top foot. But I'm just going to go with a straight up and down one. 2 more breaths, wherever you are. Exhale 1. Inhale. Exhale 2. Slowly come out. Stabilize in the middle. Parallel the feet. Turn the left toes out. Warrior 2. Good bend in the front knee. Nice and strong in the back leg. Nice. Keep the legs steady as you do your arm options. Try and do the same as what you did on the first sides. But I also have to tell you a little secret. As yoga teachers, we constantly forget what we did on the first side. Have you ever been to a class where the teacher did something totally different or completely forgot the entire side? So it happens to all of us. So if it happens to you, we're in good company. Nice. And also, your body's not going to limp out all skew because you forgot to do one side of your shoulder stretch or pose variation. It's okay. Switch to the second one if you're doing 2. And try to remember what you did after this. It's triangle, side angle, or half moon. And get straight into it now for a couple of breaths. Set it up. Rise up into the pose. And remember, the pose starts from your center. A sense of expanding of freedom. This is our common intention today, and actually the goal of yoga is total liberation. Today we're expressing that through choosing our own movements, introducing a bit more options into the class. So expand from that freedom center that we are working from. Good, slowly come out, parallel the feet, center. Let's go warrior 1, base, and then I'll talk you through some variations. Good. Warrior 1, set it up. We're going to be on the right foot forward. I like the feet a bit wider so that the hips can turn forward with a bit more space, a bit more ease. And then add the arms. If you don't want to add the arms, there's also hands behind the back of the head. I really like this option actually. I want to stay here. There's also hands behind the back, the lower back. And there's lots of arm options in all these yoga poses. Good. Do one last shoulder option or arm option, whatever it is. Good. Here's your options for the pose that follows from Warrior 1. The first one's just really simple. Straighten the front leg, pyramid pose, Parshavottanasana. You can also lift the right arm, which will take you to revolved triangle, or if you want to do a twist and bend the front knee, hook your elbow, left elbow over right knee. Those are all good options. Nice. Whichever pose or option you have chosen, can you commit to it 100%? You've chosen this, so do it really well. Nobody said you had to do this pose, but you wanted it. So here you go. Can you fully engage? You're grounding, you're strengthening, you're expanding from the center. Maybe second option, if you want to lift the right arm, that's revolved triangle, or maybe go into a twist for the last part. You can do that. And then let's slowly release, come back to feet parallel. Take a breath. Good. Turn left toes forward. place the right foot however it feels best for you, warrior one, and don't be afraid to use some mat space. I find it's often nice to expand a little bit in how I move around on the mat. Let's choose some arm options, and we've got a couple more breaths. Maybe you're doing the same as the last side. Maybe you can't quite remember, and you're making it up. It's all good. And then for our next pose, remember what you did. Was it pyramid pose? Was it revolved triangle? Was it the twisted lunge? You can also do the back heel down, which is more warrior one base with the twist. It's going to be a bit harder. Just start the little sequence now. Maybe you just held one pose for a little bit longer. Maybe you combined two poses in this little sequence. It's fine. Good. I went into revolved triangle here, so I'm going to do the same on this side. Another 2 breaths or so wherever you are. Nice. Slowly come out and center again. Nice. You can shake the legs out. We're going to do a balancing pose. Nice. So choose a balancing pose. Tree pose, eagle pose, dancer's pose, whatever you want. I'm going to do hand to big toe. You can also just hold one knee up. Just make it up. Choose one leg that stays down. Choose a leg that goes up. And come into it. We've got a few breaths, so there's no rush. Just commit to your choice, whatever it is. So in this way, the pose doesn't really matter, but your choice and freedom matters a lot. And once you have decided to do something, you commit to doing it to the best of your ability. Doesn't mean you have to be super stretchy or look a certain way, just the best of your ability, not the best of Instagram's ability or something, okay? Slowly come out, shake the legs out, prepare for the side number 2, your balance pose, whatever you did. Dancer, wheel, eagle, hand to big toe, or maybe something else. Warrior 3, half moon. There's a lot of balances out there. Come into it. On the other side, sharpen your focus. Soften your breath. Let the eyes be wide open and relax. Good. Slowly come out. Well done. Give it a little shake. Nice. We'll do one more balance pose on both sides, left and right. Or if it's a steady pose, like a central one in the middle, then we'll do it 2 times. So you choose. I'm going to headstand. Going to do a handstand against the wall, a forearm balance, an arm balance, another standing balance. It's fun. Choose and go for it. Slowly up. I'll let you know when we're coming down or when we're swapping to the second side. One more deep breath. Slowly come out. Take a mini break. Let's get ready for either you're doing the second side, if it was a pose that you do on one side, or do another round of whatever you've done before. Good. Get into it. You can also do a variation of your inversion. If you went upside down, maybe a leg, arm variation, it's fine. Or maybe just repeat the same thing. We're not here for terribly long. One more breath. Start to come out. Mini break. Now start to think of a pose you'd like to do a little bit lower down to the ground. Here's some suggestions. You can do a back bend on your belly or on your back. Think bridge, locust, cobra, a bow pose, wheel. You can also do a side bend, or you can do a twist. Okay, I want to do one locust and one bow, and I'll leave it up to you what you're doing. Good. So come straight into it. Couple of breaths in the first pose. So are you doing the one side? If you're doing a twist or a side bend, it's going to be a one-sided one. If it's a back bend, then probably it's more centered. Take another breath wherever you are, and then rest down or come out for a moment. Take a breath. Good. Round two. Are you doing the second side if it was an one-sided pose, or pick another one? Nice. I'm going up into bow, but as I said before, this is your practice and you are making your own choices. If I was to choose for you, then maybe I'm choosing things that don't really make you maximum free and liberated. So now you're getting a little bit more of that choice. Let's take one more breath and then slowly come down, rest for a moment. Good. We'll end with a seated pose. I'll give you some options. Options is an outer hip stretch. You can do pigeon actually if you want. You can also do just cross-legged if your hips are really open. You have one ankle on the knee maybe for fire log stacking pose, double pigeon. I'm usually happy with just folding over the legs like this. So I'm going to go with that one. If you prefer to do a seated twist, that could be really nice. Ardha Matsyendrasana. Or you can even do Janu Sirsasana, where your one leg is forward and your other foot is inside your front thigh. I think those are all really nice options. You know, when you start to make these choices, I have the same when I make a yoga class, then suddenly it becomes really hard. Like, wow, there's so many amazing options out there. And so little time, really, not just in this class, but just in a regular day where there's all kinds of other commitments. And I guess the answer just to keep coming back to your practice, to keep making good choices in your movement, and even how you move, how you eat, how you speak, how you work, so that in the end, almost whatever you do becomes your yoga practice. How you walk down the street, how you sit on the train, how do you email like a yogi, making good choices in whatever you do. Good. Slowly lift back up. Second side, I'm just swapping the leg that was in front. Maybe your ankles on the knee. Maybe doing Gomukasana. Maybe doing the seated twist with one foot over the other knee. Maybe I forgot the other option that I mentioned before. Good. Do the same as the first side, but notice maybe some subtle differences. On one side a bit more open, Feels a bit easier to breathe and to soften in. Or maybe as we get towards the end of our practice, we just get a little bit more access, a bit more freedom, you could say. Your body is free when the mind feels more free. They are not separate, they very much work together. In fact, a famous yoga guru said, body not stiff, mind stiff. So he meant if you have a mental blockage, it's going to express itself somehow in your body, and you're not going to have full access to your movement potential. Good, then slowly lift up. Just choose any comfortable seat. Rest your hands. You could also lie down if that's more appropriate for you now. And just let the spine lift up. Let the eyes close. Take a moment. Out of all the things that are available today's fast-paced digital world, you have chosen to just sit or lie down quietly for a moment. Appreciate the fact that reality is just sitting quietly. That's it. What happens next, you are in charge, you are in control, and you're going to make good choices. Guys, feel free to stay a little bit longer or meditate or rest in Shavasana. I'm going to sign out, and hopefully we'll see each other soon. Touch your hands to your forehead, through your heart center. Bow to yourself on the mat. Thank you for practicing, yogis. Namaste. It was a pleasure to move together and to have all this freedom that is available to us. Keep moving and have a good one. We'll see you here soon.